body, because there is nothing that, attacks the body like a virus. It's just your body's defenses because of what you eat, with the air, water, and stuff around you that lowers your
Yes,
defenses.
we're fucked there.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. We're basically walking around in a garbage pile of a world with the things we eat and the way the world, the toxins and everything. I agree.
Right, and the 5G coming up is another thing.
I think that might be for real. I haven't looked into it, but I'm starting to think that might be a real thing too.
Well,
Right.
Mike's been looking into it, so he knows a pretty good bit of it.
Yeah, and before we go there, you've acknowledged that we've made a couple of good points. I'd like for you to see if you can express it in the following. Gee, I never thought of that before.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I'm open to anything.
Right, and ultimately, it's not to insult. It's not to insult you or anybody else, or to minimize or belittle anybody or say they're not smart. Basically, all of us humans are guilty of not having a depth of thinking to question certain things, where all of a sudden you scratch your head and you're like, wait a minute, yeah, I never thought about that. I'm just being told. It's like, for instance, the point we made, let's back up to the point we made earlier about the fact that, like Brian said, more than most. Most people don't even realize the concept that a virus is a non-living particle. Most people don't. They would just think of the moving little creature, like I put on the screen here, that's rearing its back and its legs are moving. Sorry, buddy, that's not a non-living particle right there on your animation. So why are you using something, if it's a non-living particle, why are you using an animation that's showing a moving creature, right? Why? Because that's how they mislead people, and that's how they deceive people. It's about deception. So the point is that...
But I asked to what end? Because of big pharma, or what are we...
Right. So again, we're back to that point. So let's kind of try to wrap that up. The point is, let's say, for example, just for the sake of discussion, because this will help it. This is another angle on what we were saying about God. You can still believe in God with the traditional science evolution view, or you can believe. So here's my point. Let's say, for the sake of discussion or the sake of argument, that God, the creator that really does exist, that can do anything, actually did create a huge, like, snow globe, like a huge area of water that's contained within a vessel, and caused dry ground to appear up out of that water, which is what, and again, I don't want to lean on the Bible, but
you're talking about the biblical verses of when God
right. Now, I was just going to say, I don't want to, I'm trying to avoid religion and the biblical concept and keep it just, but I'll allude to it because it is actually biblical. Yes, the Creator created, right? The Genesis account. So let's just say for the sake of discussion that that's true. If it's true that God created all things literally within, a week, because he created a pond of water, and he made dry earth appear, and he created little fish and creatures, and he created human beings, and he created a sun that was floating up there, spinning around overhead, which was creating days. And he went through a process of creating this petri dish, this snow globe, this living environment of creatures that, let's say for the sake of argument, that's reality, and that's what the Creator created. If that's true, then to say the other is blasphemy. It's a slap in the face to God. It's an insult. Wouldn't it be? If it would be like saying, I wrote a song.
These gigantic leaps that you take, show me evidence. Show me a picture of the flat Earth.
Show me evidence that we live on a spinning globe Earth. You can't.
Simple. No, I can give you imaginary, philosophical, ideological. For example, I told you time zones. The fact that there's time zones is because the Earth is spherical. Otherwise, there wouldn't be time zones.
Right. Based on that model, it works. But guess what? It also works on the flat Earth model.
How?
Okay. I'm gonna pull up a video for this too.
Okay.
Let me see.
But you're making these gigantic assumptions. Show me evidence.
No, it's not. I am going to show you. It's going to be on the video.
If you're going to say these huge things that we got to like swallow, Earth is flat. Okay, show me something that proves that. Anything that you can say. Look, I got you.
Well, I think there's probably a YouTube video to answer every question that anybody can ask about the flat Earth. As far as I've seen, I mean, I haven't watched many videos, but if Mike brings up a point, I'll look up on YouTube and there'll be somebody explaining how that could be. So, is that evidence?
I want to make a video on how the time zones work.
Okay, listen very carefully to the first words that come out of this man's mouth. I'm watching a video. Listen carefully. Ready? Listen.
Okay, I wanted to make a video on how the time zones work.
I want to make a video on how the time zones work. So what he's got in front of him is a flat Earth map. And for many years, flat earthers thought that the flat Earth model was like a pie plate and the sun just went around overhead. But there were problems with that. It doesn't work. But there's a remarkable individual, and I should go to my other YouTube account and try to pull his video up because it's not coming up right now. But he spent years researching all of the different angles of the sun, because that was one of the problems with the flat Earth model, was people would argue, sorry, buddy, that doesn't work, because on this time of the year, you've got the sun going southwest, but, you know, on your Glopbe Earth model, your flat Earth model, the sun would have to be setting to the northwest, not the southwest, because it's going in a clockwise circle overhead of us. Until somebody came along a year ago, and now many other people are following and building on his discoveries, that the flat Earth model, indeed, all of the waters are held in by an outer perimeter, outer ice ring wall that holds all the waters in. But inside of that, there's an area where all the continents are at, which is referred to as the North Pole, and the Antarctica is the South Pole. The two poles exist within that flat Earth model. So during the winter months, the sun circles overhead, getting tighter and tighter over the North Pole, and then it starts to spin out wider and wider until it goes across the vernal equinox, I believe is what it is, the time of the year where it comes at a 290-degree angle, completely straight ahead from east to west. And then it starts setting in the southwest as opposed to the northwest, and it does a wide counterclockwise circle over the South Pole. And then it closes in tighter over the South Pole, and then it goes back out wide until it gets to the equator again and starts looping around the North Pole. The point is, it's a model that works, and
but just because it could work doesn't mean it is.
Same with the
around while I fart.
Right.
I could theoretically, but that doesn't mean that I will.
Thank you.
Just because it works, but
thank you. That's my point. Just because they can make the Glopbe Earth model work doesn't mean it's true.
Okay. Then let me, again, devil's advocate. What's more probable? I'm someone that doesn't know nothing, let's say. What's more probable, that every celestial body that we look up through, you can buy a telescope and verify, looks around and has other celestial bodies that circle it into what we call an orbit, and that we are the only planet somehow that is flat and that doesn't abide by those laws of physics, apparently, or whatever you just said.
Well,
think about that. Just think about what's more probable. I don't want to play nothing but devil's advocate.
Right, and therefore I'm coming right back with, you just said a lot of assumptions. You just said a lot of. We have to agree on a reality. Is my point. Like, we have to agree that the sun produces light, and then you could say, no, the sun isn't light. There's only light because there's darkness. How do you know the sun isn't creating darkness? And when the moon is out, it's really light. You get me? We gotta agree on a reality. Right, and that's the point.
Are there celestial bodies, and they seem spherical. I'm not saying they are. They seem spherical through a telescope, and they have other bodies that seem spherical that orbit them. Okay, fuck, that's weird, but they seem to be all around us. We're probably the same. Come on, guys.
No, but see, the problem is a lot of what you're saying is all animated 3D made up fabricated models that they're promoting inside of the universities and in the schools. That's not actual.
Can I ask, why does a round earth negate God? Because in the Bible it says it was flat. Is that why?
Well,
I got you, didn't I? I got you guys.
well, you made me stop because there's I can't answer 3 answers all at once, but I had 3 answers go through my head all at the same time.
Why does a round earth negate God?
Right. So the first answer that went through my head, because 3 went through my head, and that's why I paused. The first answer that went through my head was going back to the hypothetical question of, if in fact God created the earth and you say it came about by evolution, that's an insult to God. So it matters because it's talking about the true nature of the true creator God. That's number one. The second answer is it matters.
It's not so people. He doesn't get mad at us for things like, he forgives and loves us. And when we fuck up and do stupid shit, my God at least, looks down at us like a sorry father going, you fucking idiots. I love you guys so much, and look what you do. Look what you do with the planet. Look what you do with the earth, with knowledge and science and everything. You fucking monkeys are my best creation yet, and look what you do.
Right. See, that's
porn all day and jerk off. Come on, guys.
Right. See, actually, that's huge what you just said, because that plays right into my whole point. The powers of this world, I call them the powers of this world. They want to justify that. See, it wouldn't be that way, and it doesn't have to be that way. But the powers of this world do want to stupefy and dumb down and make lesser the glorious creation of humanity that the Creator made. So there's the realm of being in the world and of the world, right? That's why in Christianity, some people take Christianity very literally. Some people take Christianity more cryptic. I see it much more cryptic. I see the Bible as being much more of a cryptic book. But the point is that the powers of this world, the powers that be of this world, let me just say it like this. I'll just act like I'm them, okay? Man, let's do what we can to, and we can damn sure do it with the television and the big silver screen and Hollywood. Let's get some kids out there, rolling their cuffs up and smoking cigarettes, man, and make it look cool. By doing that, see, other kids are going to want to do it, and they're going to end up utterly destroying and decimating their lungs, black and charred, and emphysema and lung disease. Let's make them suffer, but let's make them think it's cool, and their egos get involved, and they're wearing a cowboy hat, and they're the Marlboro Man. Let's
it's propaganda.
Let's create some television commercials of, a bunch of beautiful, good-looking people in a bar all smiling and dancing in a club, and then show the bottle of Cuervo Gold or some beer or some new alcohol, so people think it's cool to go out, so that they consume alcohol and destroy their liver and weaken their immune system and cause themselves to dry out inside, because alcohol dries out the skin in the body, and cause them to age and get old. And let's make it think it's cool, and make them do it like it's a cool thing. And let's influence the children with it.
What happened to free will? God gave us free will.
That's part of my problem. That's part of the problem I have here.
God says that.
Wait. I know. That's part of the problem I have here, is that where do you draw the line between free will and manipulation? Where do you draw the line between people exercising their free will as a result of manipulation that occurred to them versus exercising their free will based on higher awareness and higher understanding and a higher appreciation for life and for the Creator? So
I don't know, Mike. Those are difficult fucking questions to answer on a show.
Right, but they tie.
A great show, by the way, guys.
Right, but and the thing is, they tie that those questions tie right into this whole thing. Because with regards to flat Earth, it comes back to the issue of, wait a minute, did God create some beautiful natural flowing hills and rivers and beauty and just lush forest and greenery, a tree that was 7 miles tall that went all the way up to the dome, and like and you saw the movie Avatar, right?
Is that what you're describing, Avatar?
Yeah. similar.
let me just suggest that they get these
Great movie.
right, and let me just suggest that they get these ideas from somewhere. Okay.
Okay.
There are stories in the Bible about a tree that reached to heaven. So there's also a story in the Bible about God taking the tree out of the garden because of, there's also stories in the Bible about the angels cutting down the gargantuan trees. So these movies are based on real events that happened in the past that had to do with the fact that there was a creator God who created all things. And I don't know exactly what the rebellion is. The religious story is that there were fallen angels, there were beautiful beings that rebelled and protested and said, no, we want to do it this way. And essentially the creator gave this domain and this world over to those powers, and those are the powers that be in this world. And the only lingering question is, are there really fallen angels today that exist, that are controlling everything? Or is it human beings that are controlling everything? Now, this gets deep and heavy because this is an issue I've also addressed in other videos, and I've addressed it with Brian before. One of the big problems I have with Christianity, because I became a born-again Christian many years ago, gave my life to the Lord, read the Bible from Genesis to Revelations twice over like a book. I've studied with the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Mormons, the Latter-day Saints, the Seventh-day Adventists. My great-grandfather was a Baptist preacher. I went to Hindu churches. I went to Buddhist churches. I went to Jewish temples. I went to, studied with Muslim friends. I went the gamut, okay, to gain higher knowledge and understanding and awareness. And I've been there, done that. I've been the Christian. I've been the church going, praying, tithe, going to church, praise God, glory be to God. But I continue to ask because I don't believe that that's truly the answer either, being in a church pew. And that's why what I will say today for people is I will certainly side with Christians because overall those are human beings who favor what is good and right. They prefer what is good. They might have a porn addiction. They might drink alcohol. They might have problems, going back to the points you were making earlier, but they want to do what's right. They prefer what's good, and they surrender their lives to God, and they say, God, help me, cleanse me, make me whole. They pray, they seek to overcome, and they, and they endeavor to have a better life, and many of them do when they become Christians, right? So it's a good thing. It's a positive thing. Do I agree with all the philosophies and the ideas and the teachings in any or all Christian churches? No. And one of the big problems I personally have with Christianity is there's three notions that seem to be a fundamental basis for the psycho-emotionality of Christians, and it creeps right into the general world populace. And especially for the more devout, church-going religious Christians, these are the three items. Number one, this is the devil's world. This is the devil's world. Number two, I'm waiting on Jesus. Jesus is coming back. I'm waiting for I'm waiting on the Lord. Yeah. That's right. And number three, lay not your treasures on earth, but in heaven. Right? If you take those three biblical precepts or concepts, what underlying psycho-emotional realities does that create in a person? What motivation or incentive do they have to try to make this world a better place? If they think this is the devil's world, and they're waiting for Jesus to come back to get the hell out of here, and they don't even have no incentive to lay their treasures on earth, but they're waiting for heaven, what incentive or motivation do they have to make this world a better place?
I guess they don't.
There you go, Mike. You win. Now what?
Now, given that,
now what happens?
Now we can tie.
What are you suggesting?
Now we can tie everything that you were saying about, I can, essentially trying to justify the utter corruption and filth and perversion of humanity. Hey, man, God looks down on us and he knows we're weak, and, we're going to jerk off, and we're going to, fuck some whores, and we're going to get drunk, and we're going to take drugs, and we're going to screw up. That's not what God planned for humanity. That is what the fallen angels, the powers that be in this world, or whoever and whatever they are, want for this world. And you know what? Let's say there are no fallen angels. That's all bullshit fairy tale shit. Then the people that run this world, to the extent that you've heard people before say that religion was created to control people, well, there you go. The ones at the top who control everything, the eyeball in that pyramid, the ones on the top of the dollar bill, right?
Wait, hold on. I have to say something. Now you've made a very valid point. absolutely know that there is a deep occult segment to the elites of the world. And that is almost undeniable at this point. If you look at, the facts and the literature and the stuff, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, all these weird occult symbolism and propaganda and music, and that is there. But what does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Okay, wait,
hold on. We've been listening to you. Please, hold on. And Brian also, I'm sure he has things he wants to say, I'm sure. But please, allow me quickly. If your son got sick today, would you take him to a hospital or would you pray? If your son got sick, I promise you, you'll bring him to the hospital and you'll let science help him.
Actually, let me interject on that. Let me interject on that. Very important that I interject here. I have to, because this is a matter of life and death.
That's your son.
I would not take him to the hospital at this point in time. And I encourage my family, and I've told my mom and I've told my friends that are elderly, if you get sick, make damn sure you get through your flu at home. Because if you go to the hospital,
not sick like that, like for real.
Right, but I'm telling you, right now, people don't want to go to the hospital because there's a good likelihood that people that are going to the hospital now are being knocked off and told that they're dying of coronavirus.
Fine. I'm not speaking specifically of corona. I'm saying in general, if it was something serious, you get me? You would be a realist. You would say, you know what? We got to go fix you up for real with science, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No. Let me.
You wouldn't take your son if he had cancer to the doctor?
Wait.
You go to church? Would you pray?
Wait.
And let him waste away?
Wait. There's a difference.
We have to establish a reality. Is my point. Otherwise, we're just disciples.
Let me say something here. You mentioned about the Illuminati, and you definitely know for sure that there's the higher ups and the Illuminati. There's most of the population probably says there's not. That's just conspiracy theory.
Right. They're uninformed. You're right. They're uninformed.
How is that different than the flat Earth people?
Maybe you're just uninformed about the flat Earth.
And I'm willing to concede that if somebody somewhere, scientists, can start coming up with evidence to flat Earth, I'll say, okay, we change. That's what's beautiful about science, that we change according to evidence.
Okay. All right. Let's get right to that.
Require gigantic evidence.
Here's the evidence.
That is important.
Here's the evidence. Let's go to evidence now, because we've been talking philosophical, right? Like why, would, and why, and the powers, and what's the difference? And I can believe in God with creation, evolution. Here's the evidence. Here's evidence.
Well, hang on, Mike. Let me get Chris. What would the evidence have to be? Does it have to be a scientist saying it, or can it be like a video showing something and you go, "Wow, that makes a lot of sense"? Or what does the evidence? What can the evidence be? Anything?
Great question. It depends. What is at stake? Am I just curious? Am I just wanting to open my mind? I will certainly watch a YouTube video, and if it opens or illuminates something that I didn't think about, I'm open to it, and I'll be curious and check it out and go deeper. But eventually, if you say, look, everything in this world is based on something else, right? We build as a society, as a species, or whatever you want to say, as God's creation, okay, whatever. We build on what we understand. Science works, and it doesn't mean God doesn't exist, and it also, how do I say this? We're talking on cell phones, guys. We're talking on cell phones, and there's going to be internet, and that's because there's some satellites flying around orbit making this happen.
That's their understanding, but that's not what the case is.
But that's how physics explains it, and I don't know anything better than physics to explain.
They bounce.
Hold on, the very real laws of nature. Mike, and let's say that you have an answer to that, or Brian, you have an answer. They bounce this off of this. Guys, where's that evidence?
Well, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
It's all right on YouTube. I mean, there's an answer to everything. It's just how much are you willing to, bend to, or probe, or to actually maybe accept it on some level.
Okay.
And how much are you wanting to dig? How much energy are you wanting to put into changing your reality? I guess that's.
And on that note, I'll say that for whoever Jesus Christ was or may have been, he did say, Seek the truth with all your heart, mind, and soul, and then you will find it. He didn't say just go shoot the shit with some friends and you'll find the truth. He said seek the truth with all your heart, mind, and soul, and then you'll find it.
Brian, can I ask you, you believe in the occult and that weird shit?
No, not really. I mean, I'm open to it, but like you, I haven't really seen evidence to confirm it.
Well, you can look up on YouTube. There's videos of what's called, oh my God, just you can put up elites worshiping Moloch, and they get together these weird pagan rituals, like of all like senators and rich elites, and they do these weird things. Like it's so weird. It's so weird. What?
I've heard of it.
You have?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard about it. I've probably seen some videos that Mike sent me or something, but yeah, I just don't know that proves it necessarily.
No, you're right. It doesn't prove it. But bro, that's fucking weird. Why would they be doing that? You get me? So,
yeah.
Well, a point that needs to be made right now that's really important for anybody that happens to get this far along and listening to this video, they can share this concept too. One of the things that they're doing now is they're trying to, like even when you said, oh, there's this video on YouTube, they're making people now scoff at that. See, a lot of real people, genuine people come out with good information and good research and good studies and good experiments, and they put it on YouTube. So now it's pissing off the powers that be, and they're using the media to scoff at the YouTube and the internet and to use the word conspiracy theory like it's a bad thing. Just tonight, that little fraudy asshole Anthony Fauci came on and said, I missed the beginning of it. I hope I can see it again later tonight. But he was like, well, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and I don't know what he was talking about because I just turned it on. Maybe he saw my website. I hope that's what he was talking about, But he's like, yeah, well, I don't want to go there because there's all kinds of conspiracy theories and we don't want to waste our time with that. So here's what I have to say about that, Fauci, you little fraud. Conspiracy, that means to conspire. Like you little conspiring bastard. Conspiracy means to conspire, to endeavor, to do something, to achieve something. That's not a bad word. Conspire, to conspire. Theory, that's an idea about it. An idea that can be proven either right or wrong if you look into it and research it. So they don't like conspiracy theorists because conspiracy theorists actually happen to be the smartest people on the planet because they're the ones that look into the alternative realities and the alternative answers.
Mike, every great revelation was once a conspiracy theory. You know that. That I'll give you guys.
Right.
So,
that's true.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, it's called Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove for any listeners that want to check it out.
No, bro. It's Bohemian. It's Bohemian Rhapsody, bro.
No, that's a great song.
I'm just kidding. Man.
Right. They play that at every meeting.
Right.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't they play Bohemian Rhapsody at the Bohemian Grove?
Could be. I'll check it out and see what it's all about.
Yeah, I saw those videos. I know what you're talking about, Chris. And that goes. Yeah, that goes back to the point again of the powers that be in this world, right?
No, the elites are monsters. I agree with that.
Right.
But I don't think that they propagate their bullshit all the way into the scientific literature. That's like peer reviewed, and you get me? Like, I know they have power, but I don't think their power extends. I don't even think they care that much about the scientific things, unless there's money to be made.
They can
like tobacco, pharma. Yeah, fine.
They control the narrative, man. They own the news stations.
That's true. They do. You're right.
I wonder what the incentive is to not have the flat Earth be true. There must be some monetary or something.
Good question.
Actually, here's the answer to that question, since it's a good one. And this goes back to your earlier point. While you might be able to say that you can believe in God with the evolutionary theory, you can also say with the evolutionary theory that I don't believe in God and God doesn't exist. Whereas the created flat Earth proves unequivocally that there is a God.
Okay, and let's say that we follow you down the rabbit hole and say all that you said is true. Now what?
Okay,
My
so
reality doesn't change. Everything still works the same. Planes fly the same. What to what end?
That's what I was asking. What's what's the incentive or monetary gain that they don't want it to be a flat Earth? Yeah. Mike's probably got an answer, I would think.
yeah, no, well that is the answer. It goes back to the whole reality of a person becoming God-centered or God-focused or acknowledging the Creator and walking the walk of, you know what? God intended for me to be noble and righteous and decent and clean and good and not a drunk and a bum and stupid and ignorant and foolish and a sheep just following the narrative that they're putting out. So
do you guys believe in the devil or Lucifer of some sort or no?
I don't really. I mean, I don't know. I'm agnostic about it. Unless something's proven to me about that.
You're a full agnostic.
Pretty much on that type of stuff.
Okay, cool.
yeah, and for me, I'm totally completely familiar with and aware of the concept, so I'm open to the idea. So somewhat of an agnostic, I guess, in the sense that I personally reject it, whether it's true or not. So in other words, I say I reject the idea that there's a Satan or a Lucifer because, number one, if there is, he has no power over me anyway. So therefore he's meaningless. Therefore he doesn't exist. He doesn't exist in my life. He has no effect on me. He's got no power over me. So therefore he's irrelevant. So even if he exists, he doesn't exist. So it's a matter of it doesn't matter, but I personally reject the notion based on more on philosophical principle, because again, by saying there's a devil, it gives the open door for the devil made me do it. It takes away from human responsibility, and that gets back to the points I made earlier about the problem I have with Christianity. I always say, damn it, when are the righteous going to take the reins? We got corrupt people running this world, not demons and angels and fallen angels running the world. We got corrupt people running the world. In fact, if we had righteous people running the world, then the devils couldn't do anything anyway, because the righteous people are running it.
Can we talk about something interesting that you touched upon? You know how you said, why aren't the good people like on top? That's something to do with human psychology and the way that our brains work. Think about this. Why is it that when we play dress up, like in Halloween or whatever, we always want to be bad things? And there have been papers and stuff written about that. Why is it that human beings, like you never see people dressed up as little angels or cupids or Jesus, or do you know why? Psychologists have talked about this, because generally speaking, I'm talking about generally speaking, most people want to believe that they're good people. And when we pretend, we want to pretend to be bad things, because it's fun to be a pirate or a gypsy or you know what I mean? Like, because we gotta be good people.
What you are.
Right. It's like, well, we hope we are. Not because there's a lot of fuckers in this world too.